All right, sweet. Well, welcome back. This is my friend Andrew Evans here again, and he and I are going to chat. We are on the Kia Stinger tour right now, and I have to admit, I think this is a pretty impressive car. But basically what we're doing, we're going on a 9-city tour of the U.S. to launch the Kia Stinger. Now, before we jump into more details, real quickly, because this is a new video from the one we did, real quickly, just give everybody a background on yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm Andrew Evans. I'm from Seattle, Washington. My background is, for the past, 13 years of my life, I've been devoted to racing. I started on karts, went through Formula Car and sports car ranks, and currently race in something called Le Mans Prototypes. Last year I competed in the British Prototype Cup. For those of you who don't know what prototypes are, definitely look them up. They're really rad. They're basically high downforce, high horsepower cars, man. They're pretty cool.
Yeah, they're pretty sweet.
Yeah.
So, and not to throw you under the bus here, but you said 13 years you've been doing this.
Yep.
How old are you?
I'm 20.
That's ridiculous, but it's awesome. I love it.
Been racing since I was a fetus.
This kid has more chops behind the wheel than a lot of adults twice his age. In fact, probably all of them. But in all honesty, it's a big point here is that age really doesn't matter. I mean, yeah, getting started early is great, but there's so many people in this industry, even that we're working with on this tour.
Absolutely.
That started late. I started at 24, 25. I mean,
Some
lot of people
didn't start
started
till like 35.
Yeah, and are still having great careers.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know? I mean, I don't like to use him as an example, but Ken Block didn't start until really late in life.
No,
too.
absolutely.
Tanner Faust, same thing.
Oh, absolutely. Those guys are prime examples.
Yeah, so it's definitely possible.
Yeah.
But yeah, a Kia Stinger. That's what we're here to talk about. So, long story short, it is probably, I think, one of the most unique and surprising cars.
Without doubt. I mean, it is a really cool car because it's not... I mean, for me, I kind of came into it thinking, oh, it's going to be generic marketing. Like, oh, like, look at Kia Stinger.
Yeah, let's be honest. Like, when I took the gig, because Andrew and I are the only ones on this tour that did the Vegas launch at SEMA, I think. We're the only two,
Yeah, we're
right?
the only two.
So we kind of had a unique experience. We were at the big launch event where they did drifting outside of SEMA in the gold lot. And I remember when I took the gig, I was like, a Kia gig. Okay.
This is going to be pretty tacky.
You know, like, yeah, I didn't really have any expectations. I didn't think it was going to be bad, but I also didn't think it was going to be great. And I got there, and they're like, here's the car. And I went, holy shit, that looks awesome.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty good looking car, man.
Yeah, it looked cool, and we're just sitting in the room, you know, and we're looking at it, and then they got the Kia people up there, and they were like, all right, everybody stand up.
Oh my god.
Kia, Kia, Kia.
Oh yeah,
They
but
made us do that,
like, Kia. Oh, that was great.
They made us do that like 10 times.
I felt like I was in a cult at that moment.
It was, yeah, it was like one of those network marketing meetings. Right, everybody's like in the crowd, like, you ready to make some money? Yeah! But yeah, so we had a blast doing that event, and I really did, you know, I don't like saying this, but I really did kind of fall in love with the car. Like, it's not, first of all, let's be straight, it drives really well. It's a good car.
It is a good car.
Period. And if you were to remove Kia from the equation, it's a good car.
It is.
So when I look at that, I go, all right, I don't really care too much about Kia's history.
Yeah.
I like the fact that they're making a good car that people are going to enjoy, that drives very well. I really could care less who makes it. Every car company ever has made good and bad cars.
Absolutely.
Ford makes the GT350 Shelby, which is an incredible car for the value. In fact, I think it's a better value than the GT.
Absolutely.
But they also made the Pinto.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's kind of like there's... every car company has good and bad cars.
Like, oh my God.
Yeah, the Ford Pro, perfect example, right? So there's all kinds of examples like that. Kia, I think, has done a really good job with the Stinger, but driving it, you get in it, and the first thing you do is you're like, there's no way this is a Kia. This it doesn't look like a Kia. It doesn't feel like a Kia. It damn sure doesn't drive like a Kia. But what I love is you get in it, you drive it, and you go, damn, this thing is badass, and it is a Kia. There's no denying it. Yeah. I haven't had a single person that was actually, I take that back. I had one guy who was disappointed in Vegas.
Yeah.
And he kept saying, he was like, whoa, this isn't my, what did he have? He had like some Mercedes or something, like some AMG. Oh. And he's like, well, this isn't my whatever. And I'm like, I was expecting more. Dude, this car's half the price of your car.
Over half that thing's
like,
an AMG.
That's not... you gotta give it that. Like we're comparing this car on this tour to a Porsche Panamera.
A brand new 2018 Panamera.
Yeah, that's a What is it? A Panamera 4? It's
4.
the 4-wheel drive one.
And then you also get the 6 Series BMW we're comparing against.
Yeah, the 640i.
Which Audi are we comparing it against?
We have the oh shit, I think it's the A5.
A5?
Yeah.
Guys, and we are comparing it against a Porsche, a BMW, and an Audi. And by the way, it blows them out of the water.
Yeah,
as far as performance on the racetrack.
Yeah, the only car I would say that it doesn't blow out of the water, like the Beamer, it leaves in the dust.
No,
everywhere.
absolutely.
The Audi, it out accelerates the Audi by enough, like definitely noticeable.
Absolutely.
But it's not blowing it away. The one that I think really holds its own is the Panamera.
Yep.
And the launch control on that car is awesome. The build quality
Crazy.
is excellent. I will even go so far as to say I think the interior is better than
agree.
the Stinger. And the Stinger interior is really good. My
It is.
favorite part about it is that you try to find like plastic stuff to push on.
Yep.
And yeah, I hate that creak that plastic makes when
Oh,
you
it's
push on
awful.
stuff. I honestly cannot find a single area in that car.
That's the big thing, because when you pick up your Camry from the rental car center,
Yeah.
and you're driving, you're pushing the knobs, like turn up the volume, you hear the little creak.
Oh, it drives me
nuts.
crazy. Yeah.
So, like, the Kia build quality, it doesn't have anything like that. It's not a Porsche.
No.
The interior of a Porsche is excellent.
It is.
It is. It's
and
excellent.
it should be. That car I heard earlier today was the one that we have
Yeah.
is $108,000.
What?
Now, the base level Panamera
Yeah.
that's rear wheel drive starts at 85. So even if we take that
That's still-
against the top of the line Kia Stinger, which is like the GT2, which has all the bells and whistles, like
Yeah.
52. That's legitimately more than $30,000 less. And it's absolutely on par.
That's almost 60% less.
Yeah, and now admittedly, like, yes, the Porsche is more refined, but it's not $30,000 more refined.
No, it isn't.
So that to me is, I want to know what you think as like someone who's had a lot of racing experience. What do you think about the Stinger versus the other ones?
I think the Stinger is actually really excellent. So for me, I think the Stinger serves an entirely different segment than these cars do, even though they're all on the same platform, which is a sports car. But the beauty of the Kia, though, is the fact that it is so reliable and it is so well built as far as the build quality and the cost to repair. I read this the other day. It is the cheapest car manufacturer to repair.
Really? Even more than Toyota?
Even more than Toyota. Toyota actually was not as high as I thought as far as the cost to repair.
Oh, wow.
It was like 6th or 7th.
So it's still impressive.
It's
I
still
guess,
really
but yeah,
impressive.
I got
But
you.
like Kia and Hyundai were 1 and 2, very
Okay.
close. But Kia came out number top. And I thought that was crazy actually, because the Stinger doesn't look like a cheap car. It isn't.
No.
It's an expensive looking car. It's got the nice Napa leather seats. It's got I'm sorry. Even the stereo system of that car is really
It's pretty
nice.
impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so from what I
15
heard,
speakers, 720 watts or something.
Yeah.
Like, this is the product specialist
Oh,
for
yeah.
me. Now I gotta know all this crap. But yeah.
But it comes standard too with the Brembo brakes on
Yeah.
all the models, which
Yeah.
I actually found really impressive, to be honest.
I actually
was
do
the
think they're
4
great
piston
brakes.
front, 2 piston rear. I
Yeah.
was like, that's pretty cool.
I think it's 13.8 inches in the front, 13.4 in the rear.
Yep. All aluminum calipers.
Yeah, and for a lot of people, I think that keyboard warriors that are like, oh, numbers and stuff,
Yeah.
I kind of don't care so much about the numbers. I really care more about how it performs and how it really drives in the
Yeah.
real world. So I get it when people say, well, but it's a Kia.
Yeah, I understand.
I totally get that but my favorite part about this whole process is that Kia gets that.
Yeah.
They make in their
they make
materials.
fun
They
of
make fun of themselves. I love that.
It's hilarious. The training material was making fun of themselves. I was like, this is unbelievable.
They even I remember the guy.
They take themselves seriously, but like just
enough.
Just enough.
Yeah,
Just enough.
The main dude got up and was giving us a speech and was saying, look, we know that our brand is kind of a punchline.
Straight up. This guy comes out and says that.
That's literally comes out and says that, yeah, and then you everybody kind of laughs or whatever, and then they put this, I don't even give a shit what people say, but I'm probably going to get flack for this. They put a beautiful car on the screen.
Yeah.
And I'm like, holy shit, that's a Kia?
Yeah.
That blew me away. And there's so many awesome levels to it. They knew what they wanted to do. They also, and as compared to like a traditional luxury brand like Audi or BMW
Yeah.
or Mercedes, right? they have an established history. They have to accomplish a certain thing.
Oh,
they're very shoehorned into this little niche that they have. And if it's not the ultimate driving machine, it's not going to be the next BMW. So they're kind of like, they have to build a really good car. Kia, on the other hand, has been known for building
the Kia Soul, for crying out loud.
Yeah, the Kia Soul was like
Sportage,
the pinnacle of their lineup, man. I mean, so they're not, and I will admit, I think that's a cool car. It is like, it's different. I like that it hit a different segment, but it's not impressive.
No, it isn't.
But I love that they took that and they said, like, we've built just whatever. We have no brand identity. We can do whatever we want. Let's do something cool. They could have kept making shit.
Totally. And so the cool thing was, too, is, I remember when the Kia Soul, this is back in like 2009, 2010, when they first released the Soul, then the Sportage.
Yep.
Which, the Sportage, when I first saw a commercial, I was like, that's cool. I will never forget this. They were playing a song called Song 2. It was like...
by Blur.
By Blur! Yeah. Great song! Woo! Yeah, woo! And they got the cool guitar. That was on the commercial.
I remember that commercial.
And then also they had... they also had another commercial. It had... Light of the Morning Sun, I think is what it's called. Again, like a super kind of like a out there song with this car. I was like, this is cool, man. And so for me, I was like, you got the Kia Soul, the hamster car, and then you got like kind of like a guitar playing SUV.
Yeah.
Then I got the Stinger. I'm like, this is kind of cool. And they put themselves out there.
And I think the Optima, they ran motorsports with the Optima and
That's
won.
Right.
Like,
and
they kicked ass with those cars. So they totally, I think about maybe a decade ago, decided that, you know what, we really want to turn things around. We want to do something cool. We want to be a cool brand.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Yeah.
When we were in Vegas and some of the CEO of Kia came to our event in Vegas. That never happens in this industry.
The guy was actually cool.
You rode with him, didn't you?
I actually drove him.
Yeah.
Dude was actually really cool. So he was kind of like, so what's your background? And I was going, I race at that time I was racing the British Prototype Cup. And he was like, what? That is so cool. Like, it was like super ecstatic about the idea that pro race car drivers like us were driving them around. He was like, this is so cool, man.
How cool is that?
And like, it wasn't just him. It was also like the president of North America and also like the, VP of marketing or something like that were all in the car. Or like hovering around, and the guy was smiling. That was pretty cool. Like,
they were excited, and they took part. They all came to that event. That's how important this car is to Kia.
It's huge.
They really wanted to do it right. I mean, at the end of that, and we were there about a week or so, and at the end of that week, you remember when they came and they said, hey, you guys do this for a living. Like, would you guys be willing to give us your feedback?
How cool was that?
That was amazing. They sent us an email and said, like, just give us your honest feedback.
I filled that out, by the way.
I did
filled
too.
out the survey
I think all of us did, because I have never had another company ask me for feedback about their cars.
Dude, they actually asked like specific questions about the car on a scale of like 0 to 10 and a comment. How would you find like the handling and dynamics of like blah 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 blah? And I was like, this is so cool.
Dude, it was amazing. And fill it out if you want. We'd love your feedback. Don't if you don't want to. No hard feelings. But I love that. That was the first time in my career I've ever had a company that I worked for at an event like this.
Corporates.
Yeah. Corporate. Like, not just some random person. Like, they sent out an email to all of us and said, like, you guys do this for a living. We would be missing out on a huge resource if we didn't ask you. You guys drive all kinds of different cars, and you have an incredible amount of experience doing that. Like, let's get your feedback. That was awesome.
Yeah, how cool
it wasn't
was that?
About like, hey, this thing's badass, right? Like, tell us it's cool so we can quote you on some website. No, it was like, we want to make it better.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Totally.
So they decided, I'm guessing about 10 years ago, that they wanted to change the brand, and they started they make all these big changes, right? They brought over Peter Schreier
from Audi. The guy
who designed the TT.
That's crazy. And it was in charge of Audi for forever.
Yeah.
As far as vehicle design.
Like, to be fair, I didn't know who this guy was until I got here. But once you hear who it is, and what he's done, you're like, okay, I know what he's done. Now, even gnarlier than that, they brought over Albert Biermann. From BMW.
Now, I actually did know who that was, because I'm a big BMW fan.
See, I knew the name, but I didn't know his history. Albert Biermann was the engineer that designed and was extremely influential in
vehicle dynamics,
how they handle, how they drive, how they perform. and he was responsible for such shitboxes as the E30 M3, the E46 M3, and the E39 M5.
And the brand new M3s and M4s.
Yeah, that's right. Arguably some of the best vehicles, road-going vehicles in history. And this dude was like the reason they were that good. These
are iconic cars, and for me as a German car fan, I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
They got the two top, head honchos. The guy designed pretty much the M3 from the beginning, the E30s. You got a guy who designed like some of the most legendary Audis, and you're like, wow.
And they put these guys together in a room and said, like, what do you guys want to do? And they were like, well, we kind of want to do this and we want to do that. And Kia said, you know what? Cool.
Why not?
And they basically gave them, I wouldn't say free reign. They had, guidance or whatever, but they let these legends build the car they wanted to design, that the customers wanted, that people kept saying like, yeah, this is what I'd like to have from a car, and I'd like this and I'd like that, and it ended up becoming this amazing GT car that Kia is still selling for less. It drives me crazy when I hear people online, they'll go like, but $50,000 is so much money.
I was just on a podcast and they're asking what I'm doing. I said, I'm doing a Kia Stinger, and they're going, how much is that? I'm like, well, like the top is like low 50s, and like, for a Kia?
Yeah.
I quote. I was going, but yeah, I didn't say it on the interview, but this is a pretty impressive. It's a really impressive car.
Yeah.
It's not pretty. It's a really impressive car.
I agree.
Especially for $50,000. I mean, you can't compare it to anything else.
Well, that's the thing. The people that are saying that it's too expensive aren't looking for this type of car to begin with. No. Because anytime you compare it to a vehicle that it would be comparable, like we talked about the Porsche Panamera already.
Yeah.
It starts at $85,000. That's way more. That's $30,000 more or more. You have the BMW, the 6 Series, the 640i Grand Coupe. The Grand Coupe or Grand Coupe or whatever the hell starts at like 65. Don't quote me on that, but it starts way higher. And then you have, it might even be more, it might be like 75. Point being, it's higher. And then you have...
You had the price tag in there, I looked at it, it was 69-something thousand.
69 something?
Yep.
So still, it could... Bottom line, this car is like way less expensive than anything that it's even comparable to. And that's amazing to me. So anybody that's looking for a car like that, you owe it to yourself to drive this thing.
Absolutely.
One of my other favorite things about it is I love that it surprises people.
Yeah.
Like when we're doing the right seat stuff and we're just letting people drive it around.
Or it's the general public. Whoever, or it could be just literally a guy off the street drive it.
Yeah.
People are really surprised.
People really like it. And I had a dude get in the car one time and I'll ask people this a lot. I'll ask people like, so be honest, did you ever think a Kia would accelerate like that? And people will be like, no way in hell, man.
Yeah, no way.
They're blown away.
And
I walked, true story, I walked to the bathroom in the parking lot, and I'm wearing this fire suit that says Kia Stinger on it. And there's a dude who just sees me, just some random guy walking along. He's like, hey, man, how's that new Kia Stinger? And I'm like, why would you ask me that? I'm wearing like, obviously I'm going to tell you it's good, right? Like, I might be a little biased because they're paying me. And he's like, no, man, just, we're not over there. Like, tell me the real story. I said, you know what? I can't. Why don't you just come drive it? There's not a line right now. Like, whatever. And so we walked back over to the Kia booth or whatever.
Signed him up.
Got him registered. Got him in the car, and he drove it around. He was like, wow, man, this thing's actually pretty cool. And there's nobody in line still. So I'm like, tell you what, why don't we swap places? I'll show you what it can do.
Yeah.
I took him out. He was floored.
Yeah.
And then he came back again later that day, drove it again, came back the next day like 3 or 4 times. And every time he came back, he waited for me. And he would get in the car, and he would go... He told me that he had, like, over the course of several trips, he told me that he had, like, an Infiniti Q50 or something, and he was going to, like, trade it in, or they had given him a trade-in because it had issues, and they gave him extra money. He was going to put that, and he was like, I was going to do a new Q50, man, but I'm kind of thinking about this Stinger now. He's like, I need a car, though. Like, I got to get this car. And I was like, man, I don't know what to tell. I don't get a kickback. Like, I wish I got... something, because he ended up waiting. He rented a car for like 3 weeks.
What?
And waited so he could buy a Kia Stinger. He rented a car for like almost a month so he could buy a Kia Stinger. and bought it, and now, like, you know, I gave him my information, so now we keep touch on social media.
Do you really?
Yeah, and
that
he
is
sent
so
me
cool,
pictures of his Stinger, and he's like, yo, I just put wheels on it, it looks fucking sweet.
That's
and he's
awesome.
like jazzed about it. And I think that's the only time I've ever had somebody do that. I've been doing this a long time, and I've never had somebody come up and be like, this car is so badass, I'm fucking buying one.
We've worked for luxury brands and plenty of sports car brands.
The only exception,
I'm not gonna like name them out loud, but we've worked for plenty. And
I'm okay naming them.
Yeah, okay.
If you don't want to, that's fine.
No.
But so we work for a lot of different companies. We're all independent contractors, and so I do the Mercedes G-Wagon Iron Shekel gigs.
Yeah.
And the G-Wagon, obviously not a comparison to the Stinger.
No, it's completely different.
But point being, that's about the only other vehicle that people get in, and I constantly, mostly girls, but people get in and they're like, oh my god, this is my dream car.
Oh, yeah.
And then I'm sure some of those people go buy them, you know, maybe because it's like, oh, this thing's pretty badass. Like, I've had people get in and go like, oh, well, my Range Rover could do this. And you're like,
try me.
Why don't we go up here before you start talking shit? But those events are fun, but I still, to this day, I think this guy is the only dude who's ever bought the car that I was doing.
Directly.
But yeah,
because of you.
Shit, Mercedes, Nissan, Toyota. I did Hotel Tacoma.
Dude, that was such a cool job.
That was a blast.
Honestly.
Wow. I have to say, I am actually pretty impressed with that little truck.
I remember because we were sharing the same room.
Yeah.
I was like talking about trucks during that trip. I actually legitimately thinking, I'm gonna buy myself a Tacoma.
Yeah.
I was actually thinking about it.
Yeah.
I was like, this is pretty cool.
Yeah, I just like what they're doing with the brand and you know, the truck itself it's not like fast or powerful or anything, but it's a good truck.
It's just a good truck.
And it's got that minivan motor, which at first was like a big turnoff for me. It's the same motor they put in the Sienna.
I had the exact same impression.
But then I look at it like this. Toyota only has a handful of motors now. Yeah. And they design those engines to be extremely versatile. So they're going to be reliable.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, you know, a company that designs a new engine for every vehicle, now you got to, like, do R&D on all those different engines and have all those different parts. Like, Toyota does it right. I will give them credit. Some of their stuff is boring. Yeah. The Tacoma is not boring.
It is not boring.
And it's a good truck.
And so I think this is cool because I'm just looping into Kia. Kia's thing with the Stinger is find your youth, I think is what their quote is. Yeah. And so for me, I think that's cool, like finding your niche in the markets. And so, like Toyota, for example, their marketing is incredible. It's the lifestyle thing, right? Hotel Tacoma is just for social media influencers. Yeah. Right? Or even like we're watching Olympics tonight, right? And I was going, wow, there's Toyota right there.
There's Toyota everywhere.
Like right there on all the skiers' bibs. And also like during the commercial breaks. Yeah. And so aligning yourself with that product. And like Kia's doing that too with, I mean, even the Super Bowl commercial with Steven Tyler and Emerson Fittipaldi and stuff like that.
Super Bowl commercial. And I know they're doing a lot with soccer. Non-American football.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Real football.
Yeah, real football. Yeah. No, they're doing some neat stuff, man. And I have to give it to them, just being around the company as much as we have now, and I'm looking forward to this tour because I want to be around them more. I am more and more impressed with the people in the company, the way they do things, the way they treat people, and the pride that they take in their products.
It's crazy.
It's unbelievable. Like this car is really important for them. Like they want to do this right. Yeah. And, you know, I mean, we could talk all day about like, oh yeah, they have the most reliable cars in the industry according to J.D. Power for like 2 years running or whatever. Like that's impressive in itself, especially when you compare it to vehicles like Toyota and Honda that have always had like legendary reliability. And Kia is not even like a shade better. They're like a wide margin better. Like they're killing it.
So, and this is kind of fascinating, guys. Kia did not start as a car manufacturer. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Let's just go. I actually did not know this until today. Maybe you did.
Yeah, well, I read this today after you said this.
They were a bicycle manufacturer. Yeah. Okay. That's crazy to me. And now they produce the Kia Stinger. I mean, that's like crazy to me.
That's full circle, baby.
And even they're starting with their bicycle company, they're still younger than Audi or BMW or something like that. They went from freaking bicycles to like a sports car. Yeah. Designed by Pierre Schreier.
I love it, man. I think they've got something really special with this car, and I think they've got their brand identity pretty ironed out. And honestly, the best recommendation I could make to anybody who questions the car is to just go drive it. They've said that dealers are actually not allowing people to test drive it unless they're pre-qualified, but that's how popular this car is.
It's incredibly
They
popular.
can turn down people to test drive it because so many people want to do it and are coming out just to test drive it and flog the cars, and they're like, well, we don't want to beat up the cars.
Do you have 50 grand?
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, that has been a little bit of an issue, but I will say, if this tour is still going on when you watch this, do whatever you can, see if you can try to sign up for it and get out there and drive one. If you got a friend that has one, if you can get out there and actually find a dealership that'll let you test drive it, it is worth it. It is a good car. So if you can get out there and put the fact that it's a Kia out of your brain and just drive the thing, you're going to be impressed. It might not be what you need. It might not be the car that you're going to go buy, but it will impress you.
It's a practical, everyday, comfortable sports car.
Yeah.
Period.
It's a really good way to put it.
So, what would you find for improvements in the car, the company, or advertising? Out of curiosity.
That's a good question.
Is there anything in particular they think Kia can do better? I don't care if it's the car design, the stinger, like, oh man, that could have been better, or if it's like advertising or company structure.
A couple things. The
Because to me, this is really important because they're really young as a company.
Yeah.
Like, they've only been manufacturing cars for less than 30 years, right?
Yeah,
like 20
they're
something.
pretty young. To me, I think acknowledging the weaknesses in their brand is very important.
Yeah.
I will also say that at some point they need to just say, this is our history, but this is where we want to go.
Yeah.
I don't really know what their goal is at this point.
And I don't know what it is either.
Yeah,
I'm still confused.
I don't know if they just want to make like cool, fun cars, or if they really want to be like a luxury brand. I haven't really heard that.
And
from
that's
any of them.
fascinating because if they're trying to go sports car, like the sporty route, they're not like, they don't have a huge racing presence in motorsports. And I'm sorry, but like that's a huge validation in my opinion.
Sure. Yeah.
Like any manufacturer, like BMW, Audi, Toyota with Lexus, they're racing. You know.
Yeah.
What exactly is their end goal? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know what they'll do. But I think you're right. They need to be a little bit. Well, maybe they don't need to, but I would personally like to know where they're headed. Now, as far as branding goes, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of hard to say what they're doing right or what they could do better because it's on such a huge scale.
Yeah.
But I like that their whole element is surprise. You know, they want to, like, it's all over their marketing. They want to surprise people, and I think that's in the right direction. I also, one of the things I don't like about the car itself, the hood vents.
I completely agree.
Why are they there?
I completely agree.
They're not functional hood vents.
That's been bothering me. And again, a lot of people have styling cues on cars.
Sure.
I understand that, but like, I personally like something that actually works.
Yeah, well, and the thing that kills me is the one on the side of the car in front of the front door there actually vents air out from the wheel wells.
Yeah.
So they're actually functional vents, but then the hood vents are not.
Yeah.
And the ones behind the rear wheels, I don't think are. I've looked at them a few times and they look like they're just cosmetic. Like there's no actual holes in there. So I'm wondering, it had to be a styling thing.
Yeah.
But to me, that's something like, make it. I'm not a fan of that. I'll just leave it at that. I don't know that they could do it better because I'm not Peter Schreier.
No, I'm not Peter Schreier either.
That's something
as a
that
casual
has,
observer who enjoys cars as car enthusiasts.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that. And then the only other thing I would say is I would love, but I know why they do it, but I would love to see maybe a wider front tire because the car does tend to understeer a little more than I'd like because it's 3,800 to 4,000 pounds. So it's going to understeer, but...
And it actually does have really good handling.
It does, yeah.
It's actually really impressive. It does feel like a BMW. It actually... Yeah, it's BMW type of handling.
I would totally agree with that.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Anyways,
no, it's all good.
The understeer though is if your somebody's really pushing it, like we are, like really pushing it, you feel that understeer.
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
but we're a very specific type of client, so like obviously they're not going to build a car for us, but To me, that does drive me nuts about the whole industry. I know why they do it. The reason that the whole industry does it is because if you understeer, you're going to hit whatever it is with the front of the car, and then you have crumple zones in the engine and the firewall and airbags, and like it's a lot safer than hitting a pole sideways.
Yeah.
So I get it, but I do think that this car could maintain a good, safe balance if you went like one size up in tire. Yeah. Because you'd still have a stagger. I think I don't remember the size of the tires, but I think it's 20 millimeters difference. So if you only went down to 10, if you upped the front size 10 millimeters and got a little bit more, just a little bit, I think that could stability. Go a long way.
Yeah, because I mean, today I was really abusing it, and I could not get the back end sideways.
Yeah.
And that's great, but it's still understeering like pretty dramatically in some instances.
Yeah.
If you're really trying to push it. So
and they're good tires. I think they're Michelin Pilot Sports.
The Michelin Pilot Sport 4. I mean, I was like, wow.
Yeah, they're good tires.
Those are good tires.
It's definitely, you can't blame the tire.
No, it's not that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think that the tires are an interesting point, and then I'm being nitpicky, but like the steering wheel, I'm like, this could be like a little bit like a Porsche type design, but beyond that, I think it's a good car.
Do you like flat bottom steering wheels?
I don't mind them.
You don't mind them, or do you like them?
I know I don't like them.
Okay,
but like I
don't
don't mind them. Is the thing. Like I know some people can't stand them. Yeah. It's like 90% of people, but I don't mind it.
I don't hate it. It's just to me, for what I do, which is sideways a lot. It's like, just annoying.
Yeah.
Because I gotta like let the wheel go, and it's slapping my hands when it comes around. Like
I guess like because. This is going to be random, but like from karting, I had flat bottom steering wheels.
Sure.
So I was like, I don't know. I just kind of grew up with it, so I'm not that concerned about it.
I guess I can see that. Oh, but, here's another thing.
Yeah.
Turning radius.
Turning radius.
Not my favorite on this car.
Nope, I agree.
It's a little lackluster.
No, because actually I was trying to do a U-turn the other day, trying to like get turned around like a little two-way thing, and I couldn't do it. I had a 3-point turn in.
Yeah.
That was a little lackluster. Yeah. Me and the guy next to me were saying it's like this steering race like Pluto or something.
Yeah, I mean, and that could come into play for a lot of people every day. But I will say these are pretty.
This is 114 inch wheelbase.
Yeah, that
is big.
It's a big car. It's comfortable. Here's the point. We're trying to find things we don't like about this car.
Yeah.
And it's actually,
and that's why I brought it up, because I think it is kind of
that was a good
topic.
idea. It actually is a challenge to find things you don't like.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the same way for me with the Porsche, because in the Panamera you get in and like what frustrated me was that to get to the main knob you got to rest your hand on top of the shift selector, or like the volume knob, which you got to like snake your hand around the front of it to get to.
I'm not gonna lie, I did not like that new. I know people like it. That new. I like the old Porsche, where it's like mission control spaceship thing. But this is like. Button.
This is trying to be a Tesla almost. It's like trying to be something.
It's not appropriate either.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
You're a Porsche. You're not a Tesla.
Yeah, but that's the level that a quality car like that.
Yeah.
Should be at. You should be talking about the like button placement and the little things like that, which is exactly where we're at on the Kia, except that I'm not really complaining about any of it.
But here's the thing though, with the Kia, I actually think it's the dash. This is going to sound stupid because I'm not like a dash guy at all. But that navigation system and like
it's cool.
little center console is actually, to me, the most practical one I've ever found. And this is coming from a German car nut. Like even BMW, I'm like, this is not intuitive the way they designed it.
Well, BMW, it's amazing that little screen on top of the Stinger that they have looks like it came out of a Beamer.
Yeah, totally. And the Kia looks exactly like a Beamer.
It looks like a Beamer, but they also took the Mercedes 3-vent thing.
Yeah, which I think is cool.
In there. And then they took...
And for those who don't know, it's like the little circular ones.
Yeah, little circular vents and stuff.
They're like
awesome.
The little jet propeller type looking ones. They're cool.
Yeah, they're cool.
Yeah.
And that's like right in the middle of the dash. And then below that you have the heating and air conditioning, the HVAC controls.
Physical buttons.
Yeah, climate controller, what have you. And they're all physical buttons. And then below that you have... what am I thinking here? You have like all the rest of the control and everything for the head unit.
Yeah.
But my favorite part is that the head unit is touchscreen.
Yeah.
So just like in a BMW, you have that iDrive thing, which you control everything with the little knob or whatever, and that works. It's fine. I actually kind of like that because it keeps your hand down here. But what I really like is the fact that if I can't find something on the Kia, I just touch the screen. On a BMW, you can't do that. You have to use the iDrive. Same with Mercedes, dude.
I know the Mercedes.
The G-Wagon, they start at 122,600, and you're telling me I don't have a touchscreen in that bitch?
What? They don't?
Like, no, it's all done with the knob. Like, that's crazy.
I actually prefer the BMW over the Mercedes one, but that's just my own personal taste.
Sure. Yeah,
like as far as like their interface and stuff like that. But still, dude, I mean, like, the Kia is actually really impressive to me because it's a very straightforward, very simple dash that just works. Yeah. And so to me, I'm like, that's great. I like practicality.
I do too.
Yeah.
So overall, Andrew and I both think that it's an excellent car. And if you're on the fence about it, go drive it. And I'm not saying you're going to be, like, wooed and suddenly become a giant Kia fan.
And we're not trying to make it sound like the next 911.
No, and by the way, neither of us are paid to say any of this.
Oh, yeah.
That should be clarified. Yeah. We genuinely do really like this car. Now, admittedly, yes, we are currently contracted for, well, basically a company that is doing stuff for Kia. But essentially, yes, we're working for a Kia event, but the nice thing is because we're not paid by Kia or employed by Kia, we can be honest with
about
our
opinions.
Yeah. So, bottom line, whether you believe me or not, or whether you believe us or not, go drive one of the things and make up your own mind because they are genuinely impressive cars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one thing, this is kind of random, but I mean, like, even the seats, guys, the leather apparently is from the same factory as BMW.
Oh, that's right. I remember they told us that.
I thought that was fascinating. I was like, huh. Wow.
They kind of went. They kind of like knocked off all the classic German luxury cars.
Yeah.
But I like that because they're really good at it, and they were like, by the way, guess what we can do for way less money.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can just copy shamelessly from other people.
Yeah. And still make something good.
And still make something good. You don't have to be like BMW, Mercedes. You're like, I got to find the next thing. You know?
There's always gonna be people that love brands. You're gonna have the Ford, Chevy, Dodge guys. You know, that are like, bow tie through and through, you know, whatever. If it ain't coming, it's stroking and all that shit. You know, like, you're going to have that. But if you're somebody that can look past the brand and respect a car for what it is, or a product, doesn't matter what it is. If you can respect a product for what it is, as opposed to the brand name that's on it, this is a good car for you.
An honest car. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's probably going to wrap it up. Andrew, where can everybody find you?
Oh, yeah. So you guys can go find me on my website, andrewevansracing.com, EVANS, for those of you who don't know. And or online, you can find me on Facebook, Andrew Evans Racing, or Instagram, Andrew A. Evans. Look forward to hearing from you guys.
Cool.
Don't hesitate to reach out.
Check him out. He's a good dude. With that being said, don't forget, do what drives you. Like and subscribe if you wouldn't mind. Comment down below. If actually, in all seriousness, jot a comment down below. Let me know if you liked this type of content, because I can do more of it. So let me know if you guys enjoyed the video, and we'll see you on the next one.
Thanks, bye. Guys.
Oh shit, we missed the whole first part of the fucking...
Way.
Yeah, all right.
No worries, we can totally start over that, because I was not very good with the way...
Alright, well, we're way more comfortable now.